Hey Jackal! Up to this point, I've been making DaVinci Resolve tutorials, but I thought, why not change it up a bit? You see, my name, Jackal Digital, means everything when it comes to digital space. I've always liked games, and I thought, why not make one and publish it? And this will be the topic of the video. If you want to publish a game, you have a couple of options. Steam, Epic Store, other stores for the PC, but when it comes to mobile, you have Apple Store and Google. Between the two, Google is the cheapest, or the Android Play Store. So what do you need for it? You need some requirements that you need to fulfill, and one of them is the $25 one-time payment, which is probably the cheapest way that you can publish a game. Unless you go to a platform like itch.io and publish the game, but in that case, I don't know how much exposure you actually get, because itch.io is a lot smaller than Google Play Store. Now making the developer account is easy, but what comes after it, not so much. So let's take a look at the new policies that were accepted in August 31, and they came in effect in November, if I'm not mistaken. Now this is just the developer account, and we'll take a look at the personal developer account, which is usually solo indie devs. Now this is just how you can manage what is displayed. Let's go to About You. So you have the account type, account ID, and developer name. So let's see developer name shown on Google Play to identify your developer profile and apps. That's okay, developer name is not necessarily the same as your legal name. But let's take a look at the content details. How Google contacts you. Contact name, contact email, preferred language, and contact phone number. Now previously, Google got a lot of backlash for the contact phone number because all of the users could contact you, and this is still the case if you're a Korea-based developer. You need a developer phone number so that users can contact you. But you still need a developer email address, so use a different one than your personal one. Now what I just showed you is all good, but that is only if you just want to publish on the Google Play Store. What if you want to monetize? Well, if you go all the way up and go to the legal address, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So the merchant accounts, which is a developer account with apps that monetize via paid apps or in-app purchases, must show their full address on Google Play. So basically, Google wants you to dox yourself. And what is doxing? Doxing or doxing is the act of publicly providing personal identifiable information about an individual or organization, usually via the internet and without their consent to do so. So technically, Google is out of the woods because you chose to provide your own information and gave the consent, but that does not make it okay, as usually indie devs don't have businesses and they use their own personal address, which is an issue. Well, let's take a look at this video. So swatting keeps getting worse. Now this is for US, that swatting happens, but how the world keeps on spinning, this might also happen to someone else, not just in the US. Now in this video, this is a clip of a stream. This person was streaming and they got a call from a police station telling them that they will be swatted if they don't come down. So they had to come down and tell the police everything's okay. But what also happened is that, let's see, in this case, two people got too heated about a game of Call of Duty. What ended up happening, one person called the SWAT team on the other guy and the other guy ended up getting shot. Now this was in the US, but who's to say it can't happen to you outside of the US? After all, if you have a solo developer account and you use your own local address, it has to be shown on the Google Play Store if you want to monetize. So if anyone at Google is watching this, please send it to someone else up the chain and make them aware of this issue. Otherwise, you could have some potential incidents happening, like the ones I've just mentioned, or just say that the Google Play Store is closed to indie developers. Now, even if you made it through all of this BS and you want to now publish an app, you can't if you have a new account. Why not? Because Google wants to ensure high quality apps, which is all fine. But the requirement that at the moment just new accounts have to fulfill is to have 20 people test the app for at least 2 weeks. Now you can get around this, but it's pointless. Now why do I say this is pointless? I'm not saying that testing is pointless, I'm saying 20 people testing is pointless. Let's say that you have your own app that you made, you pretty much know what you want to do with the app, so you test all of the features that you have, and you'll pretty much fix all of the bugs. Why do you need 20 people if you already know that the app is running as it should? You don't. In one of my previous jobs, we had an app, we hired outside help to make the app, and 2 people were enough to test the app. So I have no idea how they came up with the number 20. I would get it if the app that you're making is an MMO kind of game, where you have a lot of quests and interactions, but in most cases, as an indie developer, that's not what you do. Now, if you search a little bit, you will find posts like this one, where they worked with a lot of companies, released even a lot more apps, but a few amount of testers. I also found another post, but I've lost it, and basically they made apps that made millions, but they also had less than 5 testers. So again, I have no idea how they came up with the number of 20 people to test the app. But you should also consider this, that 20 people, this is not just a number, they are individuals, they have their own lives, and you first have to find them, then they have to be prepared to waste their time to test your app in their own free time. And why do I say waste their time? Well, basically one person can find all of the bugs and the 19 rest will just confirm the bugs. Now this is testing 2 weeks continuously, according to this requirement link, and if you go down, you'll find all of the requirements, which is quite a lot of testing. And also something that you should consider if you want to develop Android apps is the policy and permissions. So the policy is always changing and they keep introducing different kind of permissions. In this case, we have an app for a live wallpaper, and they needed 2 permissions as far as I know, and one of them was gone or not granted to them, even though that permission was essential to the app. Now what can happen, and probably will happen eventually, is that you won't get the permission that you need for your own app. And you want to hear the kicker? Let me just find it. So the same author tried another approach to make a new app with only one feature, to get the current wallpaper. And yet, they still didn't get the permission to have this core function in the app. Without this function, the app does nothing. And as I mentioned, the same was with SMS apps. So all in all, be prepared to be in permission hell, if not now, eventually down the line when you have to update the app for a new Android release. Now, is this the worst that it can get? Actually not. It can get even worse. Now this topic wasn't just about the 20 testers being needed for the new developer accounts, it implied being banned. And what's the implication? It's about account association. Now this can happen, and it does happen. If you search for it, you will find topics on this issue. Now in this specific case, what happened is that a team of developers bought an app from another developer. That developer closed the account, but what they also did is they refunded the initial cost, so the $25. And because they've done that, the account got banned, and now the new account was associated with the banned account. And because of that association, this account was also banned. Now that's the gist of it, but the problem is you don't have any support. And this team of developers also needed months to get to the bottom of it. Which in that time, if you're an indie developer and you can't make a new Google developer account, your company will sink. Now I would love to publish my games on the Google Play Store, but they have just too many requirements and the hoops that you have to jump through, so that is not happening. I will be publishing my games on the itch.io profile that I have. You have a lovely Pumpkin Smash Halloween game, but if you have time, I ask you to try out this game. It's for Windows only. You can click on the name, it will take you here. You have all of the instructions, and you can post a topic with your comments and ideas how this puzzle game could be improved so that the kids don't just smash the buttons but actually think a little bit. That's it for this video. If you found it helpful, you know what to do, and if you want to know how I made this game, let me know in the comments down below. I'm Simon, and until next time, Jackal, keep it digital.